I don't even remember where I saved anymore. Oh.
Well, there it is. Wow. Okay.
All right. Say hi,
Really
Derby.
Hey,
Hi,
Derby.
Derby.
Hey,
Hey,
Derby.
everyone, and welcome back to a very special Dark Souls Let's Play. This is episode number, I don't even remember anymore. We've been doing this for so long, and like
It's a long game.
all this time, it's just been me. But today we have an extra special guest. I have been on his podcast. He has been on some streams. We are tight. It is none other than the illustrious Trevor Strunk at Hegelbon on Twitter. Give it up.
Hello, Dia. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
More happy to finally be here to talk to you while you play Dark Souls.
Right.
This is like this is wonderful.
This
I like looking at those painted guardian. This is the dream right here.
Yeah, so you are familiar with how much of you Dark Souls have you played? Have you actually?
I have played Demons, Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, and Bloodborne and Sekiro for the weirdos who count those as Dark Souls games. But I never did beat Dark Souls 3.
Oh, okay. Wow. You never beat Dark Souls 3?
I never beat it. I played a lot of it, but I don't want to count it unless I beat it.
I forgot.
I'm a real edgelord that way.
I mean, honestly, it was really funny because I know I just blew through Dark Souls 3 in record time, and I didn't kill the Forgotten Son or whatever the fuck, but this time, once we get through Dark Souls 1 and then Dark Souls 2, we'll do Dark Souls 3 and we'll kill all the fucking bosses in that one.
Fantastic. I mean, there are so many optional bosses, and some of them are just like, how do you feel emotionally at this point? Are you in the headspace to receive Gwyn's shadow son, daughter, person?
So the reason I am having Trevor come with me on this journey is because today, so Trevor, you know what Derby hates?
What's that?
Derby hates the monarchy. You know what else Derby hates?
What's that?
Derby hates liars.
Wow. Okay. So she has a lot of things to hate in the world of Lordran.
So and we just came through. We just did the painted world of Ariamis, and we met a real nice gal.
I love the painted world. I never did it my first time around.
Oh yeah,
I did it my second playthrough. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And we met a lovely gal named Priscilla, who was locked away in there, and that made Derby so sad, because she was just different. That's all. And everyone thought she was a threat because she had some supernatural abilities. But you know what? All these assholes have supernatural abilities, so fuck off, right?
Yep. Feels like a weird parable in this world.
So Derby went through that, and she was just she didn't like it one bit, and now she's kind of pissed off.
I mean, I would be. Listen, Derby has like some actual principles, unlike the fools of this realm. She can carry the double-handed spy.
These guys are gonna come over here. Yeah, they're gonna come over here. Well, they're gonna throw knives, and then they'll maybe decide to come over here. Yeah, Derby's got principles. Derby, we've discussed this on previous episodes, but Derby, per the item description, has had a break with her faith. Has had a crisis of faith, one might say. And
per the item description.
Well, yeah, because that's what it says. The Derby's robes, the robes that Derby is wearing, are for one who has been on a pilgrimage, who has fallen away from the church and gone on a sacred quest, or just decided to fuck off.
The chains tell it. I mean, the chains sort of tell that story. I see it.
Well, this is armor Derby found in a box.
Listen, I mean, we have to wear armor that is found in a box in this game. I am reminded so two things about the Painted Guardians. The one is that I love watching their death animations because I never did before. So I was just desperately hoping they wouldn't kill me. Because these guys are some of the most irritating enemies in the game. But they are so detailed. I love their death animations. It's really like they're hamming it up the whole time. They try to get up again. It's very good.
Yeah.
The other thing is, friend of all, Jamma, was legendary Dark Souls playthrough where he had never played the game before, and decided to put all of his stuff into magic, specifically the one that like makes you can make a sound happen somewhere else. Got through the whole game with that being his main thing, and just completely destroyed the Painting Guardians because he just kept like he kept basically throwing his voice, and they'd run off the scaffolding and die.
This time when we were playing through, they kept just charging me off, and they would just run off it on their own. Like, it was really funny. I was
It's
really
great.
excited to just pancake them with this Zweihander, and like they would just see Derby and just run straight ahead at a diagonal off the scaffolding, fall to their deaths. Just, didn't even think about it. So now we're gonna wear one of their hoods. Derby, you can't wear a white hood.
Kirby's looking nice with it. I don't like the white hood, you're right, but there is sort of a nice, kind of like a Wicker Man thing going on there.
It's true.
It's a clan thing, unfortunately, but also a Wicker Man thing.
Yeah, it's just complicated. All right, let's just, so right now I'm actually going through here because some shit's gonna go down. You see,
I'm excited.
yeah, we got some shit going that's gonna go down here. What do I? And people right now at home are gonna be watching, and they're gonna be like, now look, we all know that the armor really is the difference it makes is so unimportant in the grand scheme of things. But sometimes you want to just make sure you got just that little bit of extra where you can get it.
And look, it's Fashion Souls. It's
true.
We love Fashion Souls.
I mean, I'm not exactly doing Fashion Souls right now. Right now I'm doing Magic Defense Souls.
That, to me, though, like when I maximize the defenses, it's where the fashion really takes off. It's because I don't have an eye for fashion.
Derby.
I mean, look at this.
Okay, the Havel gloves with the black cleric coat is extremely some like Tetsuya Nomura bullshit.
Oh yeah.
If it wasn't for the hood, this would be such a Nomura outfit.
The hood makes her look like a Mega Man villain.
It
Like
does.
those ones that pop up and have the single eye. But just like some extremely goth kid did like a hard-edged version of it where they have angst. I love it. I love this too. Wow. And
Fuck it, this is our look.
where the Estus flask is on her back makes it look like her robes are open and it's being censored. On her
Yeah,
butt.
what is going on there? That's so.
I think is that a pouch? Do you have some sort of? Do you have an air?
Oh,
bow equipped?
Yeah, I do. I got some bolts equipped. There we go.
Like, wow, that's cool.
But then there's
Got your own sensor bar.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, so this is what we need. We need this. We got. All right, here we go. So yeah, so first things first. We need to get back to. Can I just homeward bone this? I'm just gonna homeward bone this.
I love the homeward bone. I never used them in my first playthrough, and then I was so mad that I didn't use them. But I did the RPG thing of like, I have to save these because, someone's gonna come and ask me for a homeward bone, and I'm not gonna give it to them.
That really didn't help me much, but first, actually, let's before we do anything else, let's see. Can I use this? What did it get me? What did it get me? 3,000. I don't think that's enough.
Terrible.
I don't think that's enough to do
You're
anything.
gonna have to grind.
No, it's not enough. Well, we'll
Close,
see.
though.
Yeah.
You can kill some of those big giant guys out here.
I was gonna say, like, I think by the time I get to the bonfire that I thought I was gonna be at, I'll have enough for a level.
So do you usually play as human? Do you usually use humanity and make yourself human, or is that something that you just kind of play by ear?
It's like I mean, I tend to just kind of just do it like haphazardly, but I do like to. I believe in summoning.
It's great.
I like to summon often. I like to get invaded, even though it's annoying as shit.
No, it's funny to get invaded because like some guy who looks ridiculous comes and one-shots you.
Yeah.
You look at each other for a little bit, backstep a bit, someone bows, and then you're dead.
Speaking of which, did I fuck myself with this? I don't remember what the deal. I did.
Oh boy.
Well,
Gotta go through the cathedral.
gotta go through the cathedral again. Damn it. Oh well. Which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Well.
Oh well. It was a noble try.
Okay, so let's see. I need to mark
You took the A train.
I need to mark
all
my
the way
deaths. I don't have. Hold on. We'll just use my phone to mark my deaths.
How many have you had so far?
We're in the 70s, I think now.
Okay. Yeah, that makes.
Like
that sounds right.
it's actually been. There are some days when you just like have like 20 deaths, and then there's just like days you have like none. All right, so let's see. We've got one death. And wait, can I just teleport?
You can, right?
I can fucking should have just remembered that.
No, it's funnier this way.
No, it was funnier this way. Just straight up, just walking around.
I like it better. I like I love the my favorite kind of death in Dark Souls is when you try and like make a jump you think that'll work and your guy just dies instantly.
So here's the thing. When I said Derby hates royalty and Derby hates liars, I just, I agree with that because I hate royalty and liars too. And as much as I love giant big titty hoochies who just chill out, I don't like liars and I don't like monarchs.
Oh, the incredible chest is no longer ahead.
I can't actually. All right, fine. Wait, fuck it. Derby.
How do you?
There we go. Fuck this bitch.
Close.
Come on, Derby, you got this. She wasn't real all along. She was bullshit.
Thou that tarnisheth the godmother's image, I am Gwendolyn. And thy transgression shall not go unpunished. Thou shalt perish in the twilight of Anor Londo.
This is like probably the coolest thing in games to me. Like
the fact that you can like kill her and then it like
and then Anor Londo
how
goes
dare
fucking
you.
dark. Is just the coolest.
It's really neat.
I like that the bonfire still works though.
Well, you can't. Fire's the one thing that lasts. That's even in the catacombs. Fire. You're the only one who can unlink the fires. Not even old Gwendolyn can do it.
I probably could have warped actually. But let's walk back. Let's walk.
Yeah, I want to see Twilight and Orlando.
Yeah, because like I was like I could warp, but no, we got to walk back through Twilight and Orlando because it is so cool and like everything.
It's really neat.
That like, I really appreciate the way there's like a luminosity that happens on like this stonework when the lights go out. Like it and there's a weird kind of spectral quality to like the way, and it's not even like that off from like how light works in the real world. I love this shit.
So good. Yeah, all right. That works.
And like I'm sure someone found that just like in an art history textbook somewhere, and just like scanned it. It's great.
I love that it's supposed to be like a bas relief, and it's like doesn't quite have that third dimension, but I so respect it.
Yeah. But like it also looks like it's kind of just floating in front of it. But it's clearly just actually does have some depth.
Well,
look at that.
It's got a little, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta say, kind of impressive and kind of a lot to ask someone to code that when no one is going to look at it.
Well, we looked at it, and we made sure that it was there forever.
You know what I like about Anor Londo like this is they put so much time into thinking about how this should look when, like, legitimately most, like, 95% of players are not going to.
God, Derby's such a fucking beast now.
Great. I love builds like Derby so much.
Come on, motherfucker. What? There we go.
what happens when you max poise.
Like, actually, I should go back to my big poise because we're rocking the Havel's ring because we can. It's just really.
Oh yeah, at a certain point, once you commit to weight, Havel's ring gets grafted on your finger.
Yeah, and like, I think at this point I actually can. I can rock the stone armor, and it's not a problem. But I don't think I can. Yeah, I could still like do a basic roll, a normal roll with.
The first time I played through this game, I did it all in full Havel's armor, and my rolls were always pathetic, but it was fun. It was also the time I played through the game with like no knowledge of the game.
God, it scared the shit out of me.
I thought there was some enemy I didn't know about.
Yeah, no, it scared the shit out of me. The fucking phantom just dropping behind me. Like I love that shit, but also.
Did you ever find that enemy that's like it's like a weird spawn and what is it? It's like you have to die somewhere where like another player died of a blood stain.
I think we actually ran into one of those in a couple episodes ago, and because I was like, what the fuck is this weird thing? And like, I had never had context for it before.
No, I did one of my playthroughs, and when I was on stream, and I was like, okay, wait, what? Just like something just shot me from the corner. That's not an enemy that I know. Like, what is this? And someone looked it up, and they were like, yeah, it's like several coincidences have to happen for this to happen.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Here's our friend.
Boy, they are out tonight. I love him.
Hello, forge I can, strong I am.
He's our good friend.
He's so nice.
I wanted to see actually if
I like the little taps.
Yeah, you got it. Well, I mean, you know the little tap from you've done some crafting in Final Fantasy 14. You know that little tap.
Oh yeah.
When you want to increase your quality, but you don't want to, increase your completion.
Listen, crafting is all about the big and little taps. If video games have taught us anything, it's that.
It's true.
This is how we're gonna survive. Ooh.
Oh no, I can't do it yet. I don't want to send it to that. We're doing the normal upgrades for the Zweihander with my plan.
I don't like doing. It's like a weird thing, and I know it's probably not helpful, but I don't like putting, especially in one, I don't like putting elements on my swords.
The only time I do it is I do it with magic. I'll do the magic infusion if I'm doing a sorcery build.
This is the first Bloodborne level ever.
Right.
I just said that to kind of conflict you and make you upset, but it is true. This is basically This is Lothric or whatever it is. No, what is it? Lothric is Dark Souls 2. I never remember the names of the.
No, Lothric is Dark Souls 3.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Drangleic is Dark Souls 2. Time flows strangely in Drangleic. The best line in the series.
It's one of them, yeah.
Beautiful.
So everyone just take a gander. Well, we used to have sun, and now we don't because the sun was a fucking illusion. All of this was an illusion.
The monarchs do it again.
The monarchs are gone. They're all dead and gone, and God is left. The monarchs have left. This is an empty city that's staffed by a sad little emo boy who basically misses the daddy who never really loved him.
Ugh,
and
brutal.
People, you can drag me if you want. You can't drag me in the comments, but you can drag me on Twitter, I guess. We are using he him pronouns for Darkmoon Gwendolyn because I don't really buy the whole.
Was it?
Oh, I forgot.
How dare you produce a blade upon a deity? How did you ever get this far? I shall end your suffering here and now. It is the least that I can do.
I forgot that she shows up here.
Yeah, it's a little surprising.
But
you can finish her. You can focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see, that's the fun thing. I love how in Dark Souls having the low ground is actually the better position.
Yes.
How? This woman is a threat, Master Gwendolyn.
Yeah. Derby's a fucking threat, y'all. And we got a Firekeeper soul out of that. Which is cool.
Yeah, I like getting those because then, like, you don't have to, like, do the horrible thing of killing the Firekeepers. I find that really upsetting to kill the Firekeepers.
It's really interesting because she is technically a Firekeeper. That's why she's got the Firekeeper soul. But, like, there's a whole thing with, like, the Firekeepers and, like, the weird undulations in their bodies because there's something inside their fucking bodies that is...
Well, yeah, and that's why they're like, their tongues are often gone, or, like, it's an odd thing, right? Like, they can't speak right, yeah.
Like, they're, like, you know, they're very just, like, torn up Vestal virgins, you know? Like...
Yeah, I was gonna say it reminds me of sort of like a version of Genetic and Spirit, but I think what it reminds me of is actually Vestal virgins. It reminds me of Catholicism.
Yeah. But there is, like, you know, like they bind their eyes and they cut out their tongues and
then they have to meet that jerk in the gold armor.
Oh God.
So why are we using he, him pronouns for Gwendolyn? I'm interested.
Right, because, so there's a whole big complicated thing, but there's an argument that Gwendolyn is trans.
Yes.
Because Gwendolyn is raised as a daughter. But I don't buy it. I don't buy that Gwendolyn is trans because Gwendolyn is assigned, if we go by that logic, then the Gwendolyn's assignment is she, her at birth. Gwendolyn is assigned as a woman. So, like, there's a whole weird complicated thing there. And, like, the canon of the text uses he, him with Gwendolyn. So I'm going to default to just the canon text for that one because there is no indication that Gwendolyn has, like, you know, embraced this identity at all. Like, other than just living, you know, like, Gwendolyn doesn't have a whole lot of options because Daddy said, guess what? You're weak and feeble like a woman.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is like there's an element of coercion to it.
Yeah.
Like a full up. It reminds me of, like, you know, the stories you hear of and, you know, as a person older and wiser, I wonder how much these stories are you know, trans panic stuff, but, like, you know, serial killers having their moms dress them as girls because they wanted girls instead. Like, the idea that you would say, like, well, then they were trans is kind of, like, insulting to trans people.
Yeah,
I would assume.
it doesn't feel right. And, like, if people want to, like, headcanon that, like, by all means, like, do your thing, like, but personally, I can't go with it. Like, it feels weird. It doesn't work with the text for me. I think the text is complicated in this regard, but, like, I don't know if I've kindled this one yet. And that's why I'm doing this. Okay. Following. Yep. Do the thing. I'm really sad I didn't get invaded nearly as much as I had hoped.
That is good content to get invaded.
Like, and it's very entertaining.
Oh yeah, no, I love every part of it. I love the awkward quality of, like, spotting someone in Dark Souls who shouldn't be there, being like, what? Okay, like, I guess this guy's not an enemy. Like, I guess this is someone who is playing the game with me.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like, the whole dance is wonderful.
Okay, so there we go. We leveled up. But now we need to become light and lean. Actually, you know what? Derby's just gonna. I wonder how light I get if I just do my basic night set.
Are you gonna try and get away from Havel's ring?
No, I just want to be as fast as humanly possible, and not have the big stamina drain if I can avoid it. Because the thing is, with this next section that we're gonna do, because we're going to hunt Gwendolyn because Gwendolyn's a piece of shit. That's the other reason I kind of don't see the point in claiming Gwendolyn is trans, because it's a fucking terrible character.
Listen,
He's-
I believe it was you who once said that representation is not always positive.
It's true. Representation is not always positive, but also I just don't see going out of your way to seek really bad rap. Like he's a weird, creepy, like obsessed
Oh,
with
look at
his
this Goth
sister.
setup.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
this
Like
is
a thrift store rug and 4 candles.
so if you don't murder the giant tittied illusion of his sister that he's created, because remember, okay, so this is the thing, that illusion was all of this illusion was created by Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is a powerful sorcerer because Gwendolyn is aligned with the moon. That's why Gwendolyn is aligned with femininity, because Miyazaki.
Right. No.
This is it should be fair. This is not a Miyazaki thing. This is an ancient
Greek
thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
No, the moon has never not been feminine in mythology.
Yeah.
Like it just is how it is.
It's like, I mean, basically is all early cultures use the moon to keep time. And it just so happens that, like, wow, most women, or, you know, most people who have periods tend to cycle with the lunar cycle because the lunar cycle is 28 days.
It's a shocking fact. It's
So they said, wow, you bleed once a month for a week? You must be attuned to the moon.
You're the moon to me.
Yeah. And like, it's fucked up and weird, but like,
And I provide warmth every day. I'm the sun.
Yeah. Like, it's just the sun, which is also weird because the sun, like, we do align big titty, big hips princess with Grain in this game. She is a fertility deity in some regards. Which becomes, you know, sun, which creates, like, you know, grain, which is weird though when you get, like, you know, we have kind of the insidious dark nature of women, and then we have the, like, you know, nurturing and, you know, fertile nature of women in these two siblings, because that's just how
the dialectic.
Yep.
Miyazaki loves the dialectic. He loves opposites, which is what the dialectic is.
Yes, Miyazaki.
Not true. But it's true. Like, Dark Souls is very interested in, like, I mean, it's the Miyazaki thing where he says, like, yeah, I read fairy tales that were in English when I couldn't read English, so like they were all kind of messed up for me, and I just kind of had to figure out what they were about, and that's where Dark Souls came from. Like, that's the text, that interview he gave, and it's like, in some ways, yeah, this just has like fairy tale vibes on it, where like there's gonna be one side of something and then a completely opposite side for balance. That's just is how it is. That's how it works in this bitch of a world, as
it's
as
true.
people would say.
So here we go. Here we've got we've got this little symbol on this rug. If you come here and you haven't murdered the illusion of his sister, you can actually join a covenant to defend Anor Londo. You can become a member of the Dark Moon Blades. We didn't do that because you got to go to another zone first. You got to get a ring. You got to come down here. It's a whole ordeal. And honestly,
I mean, then who would want to join a club with?
You can get, if you are invested in sorcery, you can get a sick, or actually, is it sorcery? I thought it was sorcery. You can get a sick buff miracle, or it's a spell, I think, for your weapon. You get the Dark Moon Blade. Yeah, Dark Moon Blade rips.
Okay.
But like, you have to be a Dark Moon Blade member to do it. It scales off of int. I'm almost positive.
Oh yeah, scaling int's a rough one.
And
that's hard mode style.
We're doing faith because that's what we're doing.
Even lapsed faith is faith.
It's true. You know, Derby's got these miracles. She's got these psalms that we read to make shit happen.
And yet, she's just killed God.
You know, we killed a facsimile of God. We're on our way to kill real God, I think. Actually, it's weird because
Gwyn is real God.
No,
I guess fallen God.
It's very interesting because there's like All-Father Lloyd, right? Who is the Way of the White worships, I guess they worship All-Father Lloyd. He's kind of the head of everything. We get these like Lloyd Talismans and things like that. Where is it? Yeah, Lloyd's Talisman.
Oh yeah, okay.
Utilized by all Father Lloyd's cleric knights to hunt down the undead. Because like Lloyd is like responsible for all this shit, so I don't know what Lloyd's real deal is, but
Do we ever meet Allfather Lloyd? We don't,
no,
right?
we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't meet him, but like, so Gwyn is the Age of Gods, right? Gwyn, Gwendolyn, Guinevere,
The furtive pixie.
the Fruit of Pygmy, Nito, like they are all gods. They're all giants and they're gods. Well, though it's weird because they're not. The giants are giants, but they're also giants. It's complicated, but they're also man-sized. Like
it's kind of like it doesn't quite make linear rational sense, which is why it's good.
Right, because there is like what, you know, I mean, the big question I always have with Dark Souls, and it's an insolvable question, and I love that it's insolvable, but is, so the dragons were immortal, right? And before the fire, dragons were immortal, and everything was gray, and everything was in stasis. Were they just immortal because there was no time?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And then suddenly there's fire, and suddenly there is time. There is division. There is night and day. There is light and dark. You know, we get the passage of time, and then suddenly we get like, you know, the dragons aren't so immortal anymore. And like, sure, we can be like, oh, but the lightning bolts and blah 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 and Gwen and all this shit. And it's like, I don't know. It's a tough question.
I mean, the mystery I always get hung up on is the furtive pygmy, and I like the idea of the furtive pygmy as representative of time. I think that's neat. Like that helps me conceptualize that figure a little bit better. I've never thought about time in relationship to the initial events of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Oh, the stone armor. You killed that king. Is that the dad armor?
No, the Havel's is the dad armor. Stone armor is those are the big mossy guys.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna look up. What's the dad armor? Giant dad, yeah. Who's giant dad?
That's gonna be Havel. I'm pretty sure the Havel's the dad build.
Oh yeah, and then you have to get the mask.
Yeah, you get the Mask of the Father, which we're not there yet.
I mean, it's hard to get the Mask of the Father because you have to. It's all RNG.
Yeah. I was sad we didn't get the pig head for this or at least we didn't get the first pig head. You know, we might get the second pig head, but we'll see.
I love how much is in this game.
Yeah,
I kind of want to play, partially because this game is so fun and like knowing about stuff in it is so fun. I want to play that El Shaddai game and see if it's even close to as strange and interesting and.
Oh yeah. All right, so we're gonna cross this threshold now.
I'm excited.
Heretic.
Ooh.
Ooh.
First
Derby's
thou
so
offendeth
smiling.
the Godmother, and now thou see fit to trample upon the tomb of the great Lord. I am the dark sun, Gwendolyn. Let the atonement for thy felonies commenceth.
Cool.
I love the Dutch angle on the infinite corridor. Yeah, teleport, bitch. So he's got some crazy abilities, and he likes to do some shit here.
Oh, some knives.
Yeah, he likes to shoot arrows, and he also does that whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Look at that. You know what? I'm gonna ditch this shield. I don't need a shield.
Faster without it. Duck and weave, dodge and weave, dodge and weave. Oh!
Almost.
again, I'm gonna say there's a lot of Bloodborne elements to the.
That goes through walls?
That's so unfair. The like tentacled form of Dark Lord Gwendolyn. Wow. This is brutal.
Oh, shit. Wow. Yeah.
All right, one distraction next time.
No, it's good.
Shoot.
Keep talking because we gotta fill the space.
Yeah, this is the first time. This is the only time in Dark Souls that I've seen a character where I'm like, oh, I sort of see why Miyazaki decided that. Miyazaki decided that he wanted to do like I want to do like a Lovecraft deal. Like it sort of that always felt like out of left field for me until I saw the Asylum Guardians in Demon Souls.
Yeah.
But I will say, Twilight and Orlando and Dark Soul and Gwendolyn, definitely, I'm feeling it there too.
Yeah, Miyazaki is definitely like pulling from the cosmic horror writers. Very
That's
like
a better way of saying Lovecraft. I'm gonna steal that.
It's really funny because like we do like I do it all the time. So everyone shorthands to Lovecraft, but like, like okay, like the Asylum Keepers. Okay, well first of all, the Asylum Keepers are blatant ripoffs, just completely ripped immediately from the pages of the Monster Manual.
I was gonna say it's the Mind Flayer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like with those,
I love them.
Those are clearly like like let's turn Cthulhu into like monsters. Oh damn, that's right. I can't go there. I should have rested at the Gwendolyn portal. Now I have to be able to make sure I can see my way through. Okay, there we go.
Oh boy. Always hated this part.
But like yeah, like I mean there's definitely there's all sorts of like we can point to like everything, like including like fucking Dunsany.
Yeah. I think that's like it's interesting to me how that's in there, but it's also like I feel like part of what's frustrating about like Dark Souls fandom is that attempt to like figure out where exactly everything came from, as opposed to sort of appreciating it as its own thing as well.
Well, like that's the thing is like I never see the point in doing that. It just seems like such a waste of time and effort.
I mean, if you're one of the people who YouTubes about it, the point is making lots of cash, sweet profits. But otherwise, no. I think the Snack Covenant is one of my favorite Dark Souls related YouTube / content people, and they do a lot of like deep dives into like the code of Bloodborne and like really dig into the Chalice dungeons and stuff, and that kind of like deep dive into lore makes sense to me.
Yeah,
where it's like, okay, like what is at the core of this weirdo thing? Like, what isn't like if I dig into the deepest, most unplayable part of it, what am I gonna find? That makes sense, but like asking the question of like, okay, what book was Miyazaki reading when he thought of this is like, oh, come on.
Oh, and it's really, I mean, I guess maybe part of it's just that like it's not satisfying to me because, like, I basically just know those answers. Like,
yeah, right. Well, also you've read about the intentional fallacy.
Which bitch? I'm blocking your knives with
a larger knife,
right? Whew. They're not. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
I'm surprised only the one did it this time. Last time it was like all of them. It was just all of them. They just like went.
Painting Guardians do not mess around.
But yeah, so we're back here over Guinevere's chapel, and once again.
Just ahead. Are you sad that it's gone now from the illusory realm, or are we okay that it has a statue? So it's sort of like we can say it's represented in art.
It's really
which makes it more real in a way.
Yeah, but see, here we go. We got grain in the hearth. Blah 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 blah.
So good.
Like it's really funny because like I really love like this is just how fucking art was done. Like
It's not far off. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's the thing. Like, what's funny about it is when people are like, "Man, like there's sun and there's grain, and like Anor Londo is all about like harvesting and like sun stuff," and it's like, yeah, but it's also super obvious because that's what cathedrals are like. Like if you go to like Notre Dame, it's like the clock that's meant to show death at the front is like, oh boy, or like, you know, the frieze that's supposed to show death is like, oh boy, on one side we have these living people. What are those skeletons doing there? They're sneaking up with the living people. Like it's always super obvious.
and it kills me because it's like, you know, like, okay, so I can point this out, and because like, you know, you kind of need to point things out, like with, you know, games and stuff like that. Like it's just what we're doing.
Yeah, details are fun. Yeah.
This is why we let's play, you know, to go through and talk about these things. But like, I'm not Vadi. Vadi would sit there and spend 45 minutes talking about what that fucking means, and it's like, and why is it there? And it's like, it's there because that's what cathedrals were like, because people didn't fucking have literacy, and you needed to
It sounds like you're not
them.
preparing to cry enough.
I'm not prepared to cry.
Prepare to cry.
I am
in secret
prepared to
rant.
get my ass handed to me by Gwendolyn a couple more times, is what I'm prepared for.
You heard you talking shit.
Did I not? I didn't. No, I did it wrong. Or did I not go down far enough? I don't remember anymore.
That's not right.
The bitches I can't see.
Well, yeah, it's
now
dark.
It's dark. I do like the kind of the weird inner light that characters in Dark Souls games have.
Well, they have to at some point.
Yeah.
It's like at a certain point, they're like, well, aesthetically, it'd be cool if there was nothing to be seen, but unfortunately, we have to have the players be able to get this stuff.
Go down Bloodborne. But yeah, like, just in case.
The little. No, I just like the little the burst of like Estus going above you because it never expects you to do it while you're going down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, all right, cool. It's
No.
its own asset. I like that.
I do love like you take like the elevators in some of these games and stuff like that, and like you go down too fast and you're like you get the various buffs that cause you to like no longer actually, you know what I should do? Do I have No. Never mind. I couldn't remember if I was like, do I have a Chloranthy ring? No. Don't have a Chloranthy.
Serpent ring plus patience and time is how I farmed rats to get humanity. It used to be how I'd relax, like, because Tilly was like 2.5, and you know the days would be like it's fun, but like, you know she'd be a little insane, and it's like, oh, I just need a break, and I would just kill rats for an hour, collect like 15 humanity.
It's a good time.
It was a good time.
All right, so.
All right, let's see what happens this time.
Yeah, this time we're gonna do it. We're gonna.
Yeah,
get
I don't think Gwendolyn has a chance.
I also need to remember that I can't pancake him.
No, you can't. Because he doesn't actually get hurt. Like he doesn't stagger.
Yeah.
Heretic.
Sure, bud.
I love the very Demon Soulsy thing of having to do the intro every time to you. Makes me think of Alent, my favorite boss fight in
God,
Demon
Alan's
Souls.
such a good boss fight.
Oh, he was so hard but so rewarding.
Oh shit. All right, so that's what?
Absolutely wrecked.
It's a total of 3 deaths now. Yeah.
boy. Wrong place, wrong time on that one.
Well,
I thought you had it.
Oh God, is it really?
Oh, come
Why does it-
on.
That's not the last bonfire I rested at, you dicks.
Oh, man. Well, you think you can use a homeward bone and get
I
to
was
the last
just
one?
gonna try that, yeah. If it brings me back to that one, I'm gonna be pissed.
I mean, it will.
God damn it, Miyazaki, you piece of shit.
I didn't discover the Big Hat Logan storyline until the second time I played this, which I really like a lot.
Big Hat Logan's great.
Bad, but I feel bad that he gets taken over by dark forces and stuff, but...
Well, I mean, you know, like nothing ends well.
No.
Like either, and that's the thing is like Dark Souls is a game about going until you can't, and he goes until he can't. And like it's interesting because, you know, he kind of parallels. God, is it Siegfried or Sigmire in this one? I think it's Sigmire.
It is Sigmire in
yeah.
this one, yeah. He
like-
absolutely does, especially with Sigmire's daughter and stuff like that.
Yeah. And they're like they're much like they're a very interesting companion. I don't want to talk too much about them yet because we haven't.
Ah, well,
concluded.
I'm sorry to spoil about Big Hat Logan.
No, you did. It's fine.
I mean, it's a little bit telegraphed. I didn't say what happened, like where he is though.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
still some interesting stuff to see.
yeah, we haven't done that yet. My plan was to just blow through Gwendolyn.
Well, you freed him, right? Like, because you were in.
We did, yeah, we
What's
did
the-
sends and we let him out, and
Yeah,
he's like,
you got to do that there.
"I'll go meet you," and we're like, "Cool, bro. See you there."
It's funny the way Miyazaki tells stories reminds me in some ways of how how Yoko Taro tells stories, which I've been thinking about a lot because of the Nier Gacha. Because consistently there'll be these little stories in there, basically like, I don't know, probably in total 300-word stories that Yoko Taro has to write, and they're fun. Like, you know, they vary in quality, like you'd expect, but they're always like they always have a similar sort of like quality to them where like the moral of the story is always like, and unfortunately things were even worse than everyone thought. Like it always sort of like, it always is like, if you can't find melancholy here, then don't worry, I will show you it very soon. The most recent one was about this person training a soldier, and then saying like, please, you know, you're not ready. The soldier wanted to go out and have revenge. Boy, that was a good duel. Soldier wanted to have revenge. Eventually convinces her to go out after he does really well in his exam, and dies in the field. And you find out that it's a repeating sort of clone situation where the soldier always does that, and the trainer has to watch it happen every time. It's like, yep, that's a Yoko Taro story. It's about how sadness keeps happening, and tragedy is a recurring process. And Miyazaki's the same way, where like inevitably, like every sort of like character you see is going to be some variation of like exhaustion or you know, misplaced effort, or I don't know, like putrefaction or something like that, right? Like it's always the problem of time with Miyazaki.
Yeah. Story about how we made bread.
Yeah, there used to be bread here. What do you think? It was always just hollows? Used to love to have bread. I do wish people would make creators like Miyazaki write more 300-word stories. I think that's cool. I think short stories are very neat and very underutilized.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about. So Elden Ring is going to offload a lot of the item description into NPC dialogue.
Oh, see.
And apparently, like the thing that like upset me the other day on Twitter was that basically like the Elden Ring is a world that we're gonna have to puzzle together and things out from the clues inside
see,
of.
that's like that's not good.
No.
It's about like, you know, they said that they were like, it's gonna be like Sekiro, and like, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but I don't think that's how Sekiro works. Like, I think the storytelling in Sekiro is fairly linear, and the things outside of it that are like different or whatever are like, I don't know, they're secondary to the plot in a certain way. Like, they exist differently. It's not like I'm puzzling together the world of Sekiro. The only puzzle game really, like in terms of like what is this world, is Bloodborne, but that has more Souls DNA than anything. I think. Like, I think like the puzzling stuff together thing is just very prestige TV.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's you know, it's the lostification.
Sure.
You know, which I just don't agree with.
I mean, it's. I think what bums me out about it is that like the item descriptions are interesting because they exist in. Here, I'll get all lit crit for a second. Like, they exist in a sort of like parallel, a kind of like dialogic relationship with the game, where like you have sort of like two lines of thinking happening at once, which is cool because you don't have to pay attention to really either line. I guess you have to pay attention to playing the game, but you could literally ignore everything the NPCs say and just, you know, read the item descriptions. When it's like the NPCs provide that, it's monologic, and it's like, or yeah, monologic, and it's like, why? Okay, so like you're telling me what this world is, and I'm puzzling it out because you've written these to be intentionally vague as opposed to sort of
Heretic.
like
Yeah.
investigative.
And like, I mean, the thing now is like, there isn't a world to be solved.
In Dark Souls.
Yeah, like there's nothing to be solved. Jesus Christ, Gwendolyn!
Oh, no. No, I don't think those little guys can get through the wall. I think the big one can. So you probably want to wait till the little ones are all.
Yeah, because he throws them out in like volleys, and I thought I had gone through the one volley.
Yeah, he kind of hit you with two volleys there.
Yeah, I thought like there was this space between it, but I guess I mistimed it.
Now, how is Vadi going to prepare to cry if there's no item descriptions?
Yeah, like that's the interesting thing is like what does happen with you know that whole economy when the figuring it out is the game itself.
Right.
And it is designed to be puzzled out.
I mean, I expect it's going to be the same thing that happens with like all the, you know, the fact that like every game now is called a Souls-like. Like the fact that you can just say something is a Souls game even if it isn't. You know, like any game, even like an action game like Neo or something like that, is a Souls game now, right? So I expect like that sort of like slippage is gonna sneak into that economy.
There's got to be a faster way to do this.
It really does.
Everyone complained about the bon, and I did it too. I complained about the bonfires being too close to the boss fights in the later Dark Souls games, and now I'm being punished for that.
You will regret your words. You've been Kojima'd.
God.
I was so happy to find like that he actually literally said you will regret your words and deeds in a tweet. Like someone didn't. That wasn't just me imagining something funny.
Yeah.
Like, when I was writing the book, I was like, I gotta source this. Like, I gotta actually find the tweet. I was like, this is so good. I'm so happy he said
God
this.
damn it!
No.
I didn't mean to lock on.
Well, let's see. Oh God, I looked up fastest route to Gwendolyn, and the first thing that came up was a Reddit post on our Dark Souls from 4 years ago that says that can't be the fastest route. Don't look that up, listeners. There's also some cool casual transphobia.
Oh God!
Courtesy of Reddit.
That's Reddit for you.
There we go. That's yeah. But I do think it's funny that looking that up just gets someone complaining, as we have been complaining, that this is like a monster route. Apparently, if you have the Dark Moon Seance ring, it's faster. But I mean, come on.
If I had the Dark Moon Seance ring, I wouldn't have needed to kill the fake princess.
Correct.
But also, I would have done a completely different zone first. Okay.
Grunt of Pain was very good.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Dia. This is one of those frustrating runs, and I can't imagine doing a let's play through it and having to keep your emotions in check is easy.
No, see, that's the next thing is one, I have played enough Dark Souls that I don't get really fucked up as easily as I used to.
Yeah.
It's just I know how Dark Souls is, and sometimes you just eat shit and eat shit and eat shit and eat shit and eat shit.
You do build up a tolerance, yeah, for sure.
But then the problem with the Let's Play is it's not fun. It's fun to watch someone have a rough time. It's not fun to watch someone just continuously fail.
No.
It feels bad. And that's why I was I know this is gonna be a difficult fight because especially the build that we've gone with Derby is not exactly
magic.
It's not
Resistant.
Yeah, and it's not a fast build. Don't die here, Derby. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, the fast build's very good for most everything in this game, except and so is the sturdy build. But there's always one exception. I found that Manus or whatever the last boss his name is in the DLC. I'm not gonna spoil any more of that, but I found that he was impossible in my really fast move set, so I just put on Havels and tanked him.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta cheat.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's just do it, Derby.
Let's just do it and be legends. Have you enjoyed Dark Souls 1 this time around?
I have. It's been interesting. It's weird having to go through and play Dark Souls while talking.
Yeah, I bet.
That's probably the most interesting thing is it's required me to to talk and play and talk and not die while playing, which is more challenging sometimes. But also having to consider what I want to point out and what I don't want to point out, and or things that I can avoid pointing out, and thinking about the things that I've missed talking about, being oh, I should have mentioned that, but I didn't, or losing my train of thought because the game is reactive and I'm in the middle.
You should heal up.
Oh yeah, you're right. I was I don't need to rest at the bonfire because it doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, I should just get my...
No, that makes sense. I've been toying with the idea of doing Let's Plays here and there over the past, I don't know, forever, and that's what always stops me, where I'm can I talk over this particular game? Usually it's a narrative game, so it's no, what would I do?
Yeah.
This game is fascinating for Let's Play.
This is actually been really fun to talk over and to do a Let's Play of. Dark Souls really, I think, lends itself surprisingly well to that. Wasn't necessarily sure that it would, but the bitch ran away.
Aw.
Oh! Yeah, that's what I thought he did the last time, but...
Oh,
Come on. Come on.
that's so rude.
I can't believe this is the fastest way to get there, too.
It's very funny.
It's terrible. Just absolute, just garbage bullshit. And like, of course, the worst thing is like, by the time you get to this, like, you can't summon for this fight.
Yeah, you're right.
Or I don't
Well,
think.
are you?
I guess
You're not.
I guess you could technically do it before you fight Ornstein and Smo. But I don't know if you can. I don't know, like, because Ornstein and Smo are considered the boss. So like after that, you can't. Once you kill the boss, you can't summon anymore.
You can't get to Gwendolyn without killing Ornstein and Smo, right?
I don't think so.
Because they're like in the room before the Lord Vessel.
You don't need to get the Lord Vessel to get to Gwendolyn, though. I don't think you need to. You can't get to Guinevere. But you can. I guess if you got the Seance ring.
I guess, yeah.
That's the
Boy,
only
that
way.
would be wacky.
Yeah. Fuck Gwendolyn. All my homies hate Gwendolyn. And just bring your
Honestly.
just bring in your whole squad to kill Gwendolyn.
I'm with you on Gwendolyn at this point. I was of two minds about hating Gwendolyn this much, but you know what? I'm right there. Cut the corner, cut the corner, cut the corner. Ah, ha, ha. That's why you don't cut the corner. It's gonna make my kid play this instead of do a driver's ed. Why are you so good at doing corners? You're like really careful about it. Oh, my dad made me play all these painting guardians. Bold. A roll. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like very, very not necessary. You weren't even slashing at him at that point.
No.
You decided, you know what? I'm gonna wear a belt and a suspenders for this one.
Okay. Dude.
I'm glad you don't have to do this alone.
No, because like if I was doing this alone, like I would just been like, nope, that's it. Stream's over. Or video's over.
Despite liking the Alent fight a lot, that I was thinking about that run up to Alent the other day and how like miserable that is. And this is reminiscent of that. Where like it's just this slog every time and you get there and it's a hard boss and you're like, okay, I guess I'll learn again. God.
Yeah, it is funny because
Why are
like
you doing this to me?
one of the things that like I'm always torn about with games, and this is my thing with like, you know, everyone likes to talk about like this with Final Fantasy XIV's raid boss design. And that it's about like, okay, you know, you learn the fight, but it's all about executing it perfectly. You know, like you have to pull off all the steps each time correctly, and everyone has to do it so that's the way you get through. And it's not just about like learning what to do. It's about like, you know, executing on it.
It's choreography in a certain way, sure.
But sometimes I'm kind of like, what if it's I think maybe it should be just enough to like figure the thing out.
There's a real balance, and actually what's funny is like I feel like the thing Les talked about is how 14 gets better at that as it goes along, but also like in its raids it goes right back to being bad at it. like the bosses in the Nier raid. I love the Nier raid because I'm a sucker for Nier, but the bosses in the Nier raid are just like damage sponges because it's like, all right, got to do mechanics for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And like the bosses in dungeons are like, oh yeah, we mastered this. We know exactly how mechanic should work. We just don't want to do it. It's, oh, cool. Thanks.
I would rather be under-leveled and do the actual Final Fantasy Tactics fights that the Final Fantasy Tactics raid is based off of.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, how did you manage to make the Final Fantasy Tactics raid such a fucking, like, you know, pain in the ass, especially for healers?
Absolutely. I like, you know me. I'm a 14 Apollo.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh, Jace. Wow. I did not know the knives could hurt you so much.
Fuck
Ooh,
you,
you got her.
asshole. Oh, come on.
What? You were behind the pillar.
I wasn't behind it enough.
That is so rude.
Though, you know, it's funny because this is only 7 deaths, which is not nearly the number, like the most number of deaths I've had in.
It's just the run. Like,
Yeah, it's the run back is so long. It's really funny because like I watched like just a quick video. I was like, what's that? Okay, I was like, I know he's got the big energy bolt and he's got the little homing energy bolts and like what's so I was like, I'll just watch a quick video just to remind me about like what the deal is with Gwendolyn, because I haven't normally I just kind of don't do this because I don't care enough, or like the last time I played I was a sorcerer, so I wanted the buff, and if you leave the Covenant, I don't think you can use the buff anymore.
oh yeah, see that's not good.
So like I just had to leave him a lot. You know, I was like fine, you get to live.
You're useful to me.
Yeah, but
The Dark Souls sociopath is logged on.
but like what was I thinking?
Why you don't do this too often?
Oh yeah, it's just like, cause it's like, it's a real neat fight. Like I like the idea of it, but actually doing it is just such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, definitely. Like the idea of the infinite hallway and having to like chase a teleporter down while it's a very cool concept.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not something you see a lot in Souls games, but on the other hand, there might be a reason you don't see it too much.
Yeah,
in Souls games.
it reminds me of the chariot, you know, fight in Dark Souls 2, which is really cool on paper. It's interesting, like I guess the first time you do it.
Yeah.
And then every time you have to go back to it, it's just like, why am I going back to this?
Right,
Don't
exactly.
you dare, asshole.
The funny thing is that's like a number of the fights in Demon Souls are that way, but more so because they're not like boss fights in the normal sense, like the one with the dragon where you have to get to like the
Yeah.
But like,
oh god damn it!
Oh no! Like I'm more there to do like a spectacle though. Like if it's like, okay, we're just repeating this because it's a spectacle. It's like, all right, I get what spectacles are. Like I can get down with that. That's fine. But like when it's like hard too, on top of that, it's like, okay, I'm out. I can't do it.
I want to get I'm real close to just like finding a mod that just like resets your bonfire to the one outside his tunnel.
That's a good mod. I am sure that someone has made it. I would be shocked if someone had made that.
And like honestly, the reason for that is just like I find this to be like, this is bullshit. Like this is breaking with the fiction of the game. You know, the fiction is the last bonfire you rested at, and that bonfire is out. That bonfire is non-functional. So it doesn't make sense. Like the fiction of the world says that bonfire doesn't matter anymore.
Correct. Yeah, the firekeeper's not there. So why are you transporting there?
And like, sure,
Punishment from the firekeeper? Like, you could argue that, but it doesn't actually make any sense.
But like the thing is, the flame is the key. The flame is what fucking links me to it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If there's no flame, there's nothing. It's just a weird, twisted piece of metal and some bones.
If they actually it's one of those things that it would actually make more sense if they were like, yeah, sorry, killed the Firekeeper. You have to reset like Incense Fortress every time. Like, it would be worse and unplayable, but at least like it would make some sense. It'd be like, oh yeah, okay, like I get what you're doing. Derby's the immovable object.
I just like Derby like doesn't even have like, I'm not even wearing like the poise armor. Like, this armor has 0 poise. And 0 physical defense. Oh my god.
Oh no. Just falls off. Oh, sorry, that's a lovely little consolation prize.
Yeah, that was...
Dia, do you need to be done?
No, we're gonna do this for a little bit longer.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, this is the thing. This is why I was like, hey, you know what? I want to bring Trevor in on an episode of Dark Souls. This is a really good time to do it. Especially because, like, we do have this time to talk about it. Like, the run back.
No, definitely. I think it's great. I also know...
I never noticed the scratch marks in the floor here before.
Oh, that's interesting. Like being dragged down somehow.
There's
That's
just
cool.
like big deep scratches in the marble. That's not part of like the actual marble itself, like the crackling of the marble, but it's like...
That's cool. Like, and you can actually see it on the steps too, like the use, like people treading on it, which is neat. And it's definitely neat in Twilight and Londo too.
Yeah.
No, I think this is cool. Like, I like doing all the talking. I also understand this is more of a commentary on the mechanics of Dark Souls. There's a moment where in Dark Souls where you simply cannot ever go on anymore, and you have to leave it for a moment. Like,
it's true.
It's just like it can be such a crushing thing at a point where you're just like, I'm done. I think I had to give up on one of the bosses in the DLC for a night. I was doing it and I tilted. I was like, I've been playing this game for years and I just tilted at it. Like, I gotta stop or else something horrible's gonna happen. Like, I can't become this person.
Yeah, no, like that's a real thing.
Yeah, it is. But not tonight.
I mean, if it happens tonight, it happens tonight, but...
And that's okay.
Yeah, but until then, I think Derby's gonna wear Havels for this fight. I think, you know what? We're fast enough. But look at that skirt. Look at that. That's a good look. Derby.
I think I wore the skirt with Havels before. I like that. I like that look. I like that combo a lot.
Oh, look at you being all jumpy and shit.
Too bad you are not strong enough to hurt me.
Getting pancaked.
Yeah.
No, fuck you. Oh, he's gonna climb up here, isn't he?
No, he's probably just gonna keep throwing knives at you.
I hope he tries to come after me. There we go. That's that poise.
I love that.
It's missing the poise.
You were. It was knocking you back, and that was no good.
No, Derby is about poise. Derby's a big, solid, Midwestern, grain-fed beef gal.
Yeah. No, she knows what she
got
wants.
that poise.
Yeah.
Like that. That's rich. She doesn't give a shit. Oh, god damn it.
Oh boy. Well, okay, you're still alive. So that's good, right? What can you do from here?
I can hop over here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Interesting.
But then I can just run back up here. I think there's a guy around this corner. Yeah. Hey, buddy, what up? Okay. There we go.
Okay. All right. We're good.
Oh, God.
I feel like that's a good vibe for the run. I like this.
Yeah, it's a good vibe. Derby's got a good fit. Like, come on, keep coming up.
Important that we have to push the lever 2 times every time. This elevator always got me when I played the game, where like you have to wait for it to go down twice for some reason.
Yeah.
You really absolutely needed that one thing, huh? Like that one extra twist. One floor wasn't enough for you. You had to make this happen twice.
Well, because we've got 2 different paths. Like, you know, this is the secret downward path, like over here. So I do like that, like, Gwyn's resting place is the one that is the secret.
Yeah.
We call this Gwyn's resting place, but like.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's not really at rest.
Yeah. But like. It's interesting because you can't warp to this bonfire either.
Right.
What?
Oh no. Hopefully that just... Can you imagine if...
Okay, fine. We're in offline mode.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can't summon anyone, can you?
Yeah. Shouldn't... Okay, yeah. Because I didn't die.
You know what you could do? Anytime you're about to die, you could pause and quit the game.
I wonder if that would work. I don't think it would, because it would probably still keep the state of me dying, and so it would just, you know.
Oh, you think it would?
Like I'd have to do it like the second before I die, and honestly,
which
it's like,
is a lot.
Yeah,
that's a big ask.
Okay. We got this. Come on, Derby. We got
this.
You got this, Derbs. We know
Derby, how to... You're gonna demolish this. Those knife attacks are gonna do nothing at this point. Yes. 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 Oh, yes.
Damn it.
Oh, that's so unfair. Oh,
this is the thing that, like, Yeah, this is where the bullshit really sets in.
Good boss theme though. Oh, nice.
Okay, got this.
Oh,
Yeah. Hell yeah!
Oh, heretic, swathed in dark, an eternal curse upon thee.
And there we go. And his
wow.
illusion.
Good work. That rocks. I want to see what's at the end of this room. I gotta see it.
Yeah. We gotta
That
see
is
what's
so
at the end of this
cool.
room.
Oh, that first one where you got him like 6 times. That
That was
so
sick,
good.
right?
Yeah. Definitely yelled too loud. I hope no one woke up. But I was in my cups on that one. That rocked.
Yeah, that was good. That's what Dark Souls is about.
I was actually gonna say the same thing. It's
this is
totally
this
what
is
the game
literally
all about.
Dark Souls. Look at this. This is sick.
It's rules.
Uh,
This is your reward.
and this is the thing is like this is your reward. Your reward is, your reward is an empty fucking tomb.
So great.
I love this this weird this is a
The
very
chair.
weird mausoleum. Yeah, there's the chair, and then there's just like 2 vases, and then like there's 2 chests, and then there's like some sad flowers
candles.
on this.
Oh, flowers. Those are flowers.
Yeah, those are
Oh.
flowers on this giant like mausoleum dais.
Have you ever seen Napoleon's tomb in France? In Paris?
I know I have, but I can't picture it.
So
man.
the thing about that's a good one.
That's what we
The thing
came here for. This is
Yeah, that's rad.
because for us as a faith user, Sunlight Blade is what's up.
But the Napoleon's tomb is massive. It's huge. It's like a huge coffin. Forget what the outer layer is, like granite or something. But it's like a ton of coffins like inside each other, like a Matryoshka doll of coffins.
Oh,
And at the bottom is like the wooded coffin that ostensibly holds Napoleon's body. I don't know what's really in there. But it reminds me of this, except without all the other stuff, right? Like it's just like a box. You just get the box, and it's not Gwyn's body; it's just Gwyn's power.
yeah,
Very, very satisfying. I love this.
yeah. It's really like it's such a good. And then there's this
Oh,
one's
empty chest. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I know that it's cliche, but that honestly, that's
it works.
genius.
I mean, like the thing is, Dark Souls like is operating, entirely in fuck your chair. It's operating entirely on these mythic tropes. Like, this is like, it's like, it's really funny because like we can sit there and we can like needle Dark Souls for, oh, it's just like all this stock fantasy, and it's like, let me tell you, I have read so many fucking medieval French romances,
Oh yeah.
and every single one of them is the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is like that's part of it. Like the the mystery plays and stuff like that. It's not like people read them because they're like, oh, these are all so different and interesting. Like they were performed on a sort of thing. Commedia dell'arte is the same way,
Yeah.
right? Where like you have different like tropes of people, but you don't actually like. It's never like a different play or like a different cast. So like, yeah, I think like I think you could get kind of like bent out of shape about Dark Souls, but like at the same point, it's the only game doing like, oh hey, like the body of the king is actually just like empty. There's no body there. That's the whole point of the body of the king.
Yeah.
Like that's cool, and you don't see that in video games too often.
Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, like, no, because in every other game, that's where you would get, like, the ultimate weapon, and you would get, like,
Correct.
you know, the ultimate armor, and you would get, like, blah, 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 blah. We actually need, like, this is something that, like, you know, we have to go through. We have to read the item descriptions. One, because Patrick Klepek doesn't. But also
How dare
because,
Patrick.
and I'm here with you, and this is an interesting thing to your point. So in the room with Gwyn's tomb, where there was no body, there was an empty chest. There was a chest with the sunlight blade miracle.
Right.
And actually, we should probably let's look at that just first.
I was gonna say, yeah, that may be.
That's the crucial one. Okay. So, miracle wielded by Lord Gwyn's Firstborn. Boost right weapon with rays of sun. The power of sunlight, manifested as lightning, is very effective against dragons. When the eldest son was stripped of his deific status, he left this on his father's coffin, perhaps as a final farewell. So,
Interesting.
yeah, so like, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things here. Like, one I think that's interesting is the power of sunlight manifested as lightning.
Right.
Those aren't things
Right.
that we really associate with one another. That I think is interesting. Also, we have the Lord Gwyn's Firstborn, who is famously just obliterated from the annals of like history. We don't even have his name. He's just Lord Gwyn's Firstborn.
May or may not be our friend who worships the sun.
Yeah, he may or may not be that. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it because I think it's crucial to just kind of cut that one off. There was years and years and years and years and years of speculation that Solaire was Gwyn's Firstborn, and he was kind of wandering. And like, I think there's a hint of misdirection there, but I don't think it's not powerful enough, and I don't think it does anything interesting for Solaire to be Lord Gwyn's Firstborn.
I agree. I think, like, to me, Solaire sort of strikes me as one of those who, like, if he does have a relation to Gwyn, it is like the Zeus version of like, hey, sorry, I got your mom pregnant when I was a rampaging you one day. Like that kind of like,
Yeah.
third, fourth, fifth times removed from deity kind of son of a deity. I don't think it's the Firstborn. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, like it doesn't make sense. It's even if it is, it's unsatisfying. I mean, Solaire is an interesting character because Solaire is fundamentally just there in order to explain to us the co-op system and the invasion mechanic. Like Solaire is there to teach us about multiplayer. I think it's fantastic and fascinating that he has been imbued with such importance because of that.
It's because multiplayer is so important.
Right.
And that's the soul of the game.
Yeah. I mean, Solaire's life, Solaire has gone on to, people were very the forums were very assertive about Solaire as Gwyn's Firstborn for years until it was like officially just like obliterated as like a possibility in Dark Souls 3. I think it's more interesting. Honestly, I feel disappointed that we ended up learning the truth about Lord Gwyn's Firstborn. Maybe I'll feel differently by the time we get to Dark Souls 3 in the Let's Play series. But when I first got there, I was really disappointed that happened.
I think the interesting thing about people wanting it to be Solaire, right, is this inability to like have something that is absent in a game, right? And also explains why confirming it's not Solaire is a disappointment, because the real absence is like no confirmation or denial, right?
Yeah.
That like Gwyn's Firstborn is actually just like not in the game at all. Not even in terms of like who he isn't. It's just like he has been stripped completely of the whole thing, and that's just like it's so sad and interesting and strange. Like, how do you disown a son like entirely to the point that they're out of history? Like, if you are a god, like it's an interesting question that I think like people hate because absence is just not something we can tolerate in our narratives these days.
Well, and it's it's interesting too because it is set up honestly. Like really, if you think about the kind of the big mysteries in Dark Souls 1, that's the biggest one. There's no actual mystery in Dark Souls 1 besides who the fuck is Gwyn's son and what the fuck happened.
Right.
And it really, I mean, like, you know, it puts a lot of emphasis on it. We've got the broken statue. We've got the missing statue. We've got this whole area with, you know, Gwyn, the miracle of the Sunlight Blade. And we've got, but then we have Gwyn's two other children. We've got Gwendolyn, who is the, you know, the weak son, the disappointing son in some ways, you know, like Gwendolyn isn't the, you know, like the only way we can think of, like, at this point, like, it's like, okay, Gwendolyn was not the strong son. He wasn't the valiant knight son that clearly the Firstborn was. You know, Gwendolyn is not a Firstborn son, and he's not the radiant, you know, fertility goddess daughter of Guinevere. But he's not like, and he's a powerful sorcerer, but you don't want a son that's a powerful sorcerer. Gwyn, the who, you know, linked the fire and is the first.
Yeah,
you know,
he's not using throwing knives and spells.
No, you know, Papa Gwyn is about like kicking in the front door with a big sword and being like, "Fuck you! I throw lightning bolts."
Right.
And I'm
Sunlight
big
as
like,
lightning.
Yeah. You know, and well, that's the other thing is that, like, you know, he is, you know, Gwendolyn is, you know, a male heir who is allied with the moon, the dark sun.
Right.
Not Gwyn, the sun god, you know. So we have this disappointment, the sun as disappointment, but that sun's still here. That sun is in charge of Anor Londo. That sun is keeping Anor Londo in the twilight. It is keeping, you know, a facsimile of Guinevere in present.
Also, the only member of of Gwyn's family that isn't dead or hollow to the point that, like, you know, that no other character even is outside of just like random hollows, right?
Yeah.
Like, it is so. Yeah, it's like the only member of the family who survives and maintains their sanity, or their humanity, rather, is the disappointment, the one who has to hide in the shadows.
And, I mean, how much humanity has Gwendolyn retained? Snake legs.
Yeah, right. Good point.
Like,
yeah, there's not a lot of humanity there, and in fact, the face.
Yeah, like
So
there's.
you have a similar thing to the what's the sorcerer's, like, why am I forgetting the sorcerer's name? It's like basically the first boss of the game in the catacombs.
Oh,
Or one of the first bosses.
Pinwheel.
Pinwheel. Yeah, there's a similarity to Pinwheel there.
Yeah, Pinwheel. We'll see Pinwheel soon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
it's
it's
weird way. This is the weird way I played Dark Souls.
Well, no, because that is so. Trevor has done the thing where, if you. One of the ways to play Dark Souls is to go to the catacombs very early. And going to the catacombs very early, you go past those big skeletons that, you know, wrecked us initially. And you can go past those skeletons, and then you end up in the catacombs. And in there is a powerful sorcerer who is actually, you can easily beat them as a like a soul level, like 1 character.
Yes.
But you can wreck them. You can get, you know, an ember real early, and you can just really just supercharge your game if you go that way and kind of sequence break. And then there is the question of, is it sequence breaking? You know, what does sequence breaking mean in a world that is sequence broken?
Right, because I only, like, when I went to the catacombs, I had no. Because I played Dark Souls before I started doing the podcast or even thinking about video games very much. I played it like I thought it would be fun, and I was like, okay, which way do I go? And I just thought I went the way the skeletons were, so I just like learned how to fight skeletons over time and just like beat my head against that wall until I could get into the catacombs.
It
wasn't a strategy.
The skeletons are a really interesting thing because skeletons are, when you think about it, and it's weird that this ended up being the way in video games. The skeletons kind of were the level 1 enemy, because in like a lot of like, skeletons aren't that easy in Dungeons and Dragons. Like in tabletop games,
they're mid-game people,
right? When you're running into skeletons, it's like, okay, you've got a couple levels under your belt. Don't get in a crowd of them because that's going to be bad for anyone. Yeah, but they're not, they're not like, level 1 characters, but like now they really kind of have become in most games, like they're the easy guys. Dark Souls kind of throws us these like, dredgling hollows, these just kind of desiccated foot soldiers as the, kind of primary level 1 fights. But which is interesting because rats become more of a problem in Dark Souls, even though they're like,
oh my god, the rats.
Rats in the basement's like, the classic, RPG fight.
Rats in the basement, rats in the wall. Don't go read that story unless you're ready for some slurs.
Wow. Yeah.
I actually assigned that in the class that I teach, but one of the questions I ask on the discussion board is like, so what about that slur? Or it's actually an lecture. Okay, so like, what do we think of that? Like, that's kind of messed up. Isn't history and the assembled weight of history really like pretty intense when we're reading American literature? And then that's the only sort of like problematic stuff I read. But other than that, I wouldn't go ahead and read Rats in the Walls. Not really worth your time.
Don't. It's not worth your time. It's never worth your time to read Lovecraft, honestly.
You like buried the take that'll get people mad at you really late in the Let's Play.
Yeah, right.
That means they have to watch the whole thing to get here,
It's
which
true.
I absolutely respect.
But so the other thing is so we killed the illusion of Guinevere here. Where the fuck is Guinevere?
Right.
Like she's, it's like, I guess in theory we could argue like, oh, but maybe that's not, Guinevere, or that was Guinevere and she just folded like a quilt. But no, that was an illusion. Yeah. Like
she even calls her the image of the
godmother.
The godmother.
Which is another interesting thing, that Gwendolyn calls Guinevere the godmother.
Right.
Which is like, okay, so in theory, Papa's gone. Firstborn has been obliterated from history. We never really find out about Gwyn's wife, I don't think. I don't remember anything about Gwyn's wife.
No, Gwyn's wife is a big mystery.
Yeah.
Who was the mother of these children?
Yeah, who is the mother of these children, and what happened to her? And then also
very absent in a very Shakespearean way.
Yeah.
One of my favorite professors and mentors, Mary Beth Rose, wrote a wonderful book about the missing mother in Shakespeare, and really it's true. They're not around. And
it's interesting because like the way that it's like all, the way it's addressed, like in Dark Souls, we talk about the absence of the Firstborn. We very purposefully mention the Firstborn has been wiped out of history.
Right.
And then when we get to Guinevere kind of like disappears in front of our eyes, and it's like, oh wait, where was she? Was she ever real? What happened? But like the mother is just never addressed. It's never brought up. So unless you go, wait a minute, where's the mother? You don't even think about it. It's all about Gwyn.
At least the Firstborn is mentioned in item description.
Yeah.
The mother is truly like wiped from the game, which in some ways is like it's an absence that. So like I was talking about with the son, like fandom abhors a vacuum in a way, and like the idea that you can't know who that is frustrating to any group of people who love something these days. Like a narrative has to have like and I don't mean to sound like an old guy saying these days, but I think that's like a trend and narrative at this point. That like you have to have everything needs to be wrapped up. Everything has to have an answer. But there's something about like not even mentioning the mother, which is like she's not even an abs, which like is so much more totalizing. Like you could argue like she isn't even an afterthought. She's not something that was ever brought up. Like the only reason we were asking about her is because we assume that Gwyn has to reproduce via like mitosis, right? Like not via not via like budding.
Well,
so,
and
like
it's interesting though, because he does bud, kind of. He's the one who breaks his soul into pieces and distributes it.
Right. So like the motherhood is not even like not only do we not get an example of where she is, but like it's arguably not even a thing in the universe of Dark Souls.
Except it is though, and this is what I was about to the point I was just kind of about to introduce. That when we think about mothers in Dark Souls, the mother we get is the Witch of Izalith.
You're right.
And I don't know how much we're supposed to attribute that to an actual motherhood, or if it's more of a metaphorical motherhood. I don't think it I'm not sure that it super matters, but it is interesting that when the mother we have is the Witch of Izalith and her Daughters of Chaos. Which is
it's also oh god.
I was just saying that it's interesting to note that the mother figure that is present is a destabilizing, chaotic element who had an Icarus moment that basically obliterated her and her children.
Right, yes. And like I think especially after the kind of like extreme sort of I'm not saying this so I don't have to say vaginal image. I'm saying this because it is this like the sort of like womb imagery of Demon Souls, like the way that the what is her name? She's not the Firekeeper. She's like the main woman, the woman with the Russian.
Yeah.
She has like a Russian accent. But she's like your central person that you talk to. She's essentially like bonfires, and it's similar to the woman you talk to in Dark Souls 2, right? Like it's a person that you have to interact with in order to level up and stuff like that. And so in many ways she's generative. And the Nexus itself is very sort of like there is a quality of like womb-like behavior there.
Well, it's home and prison.
Correct. And then the last boss, right, so to speak, in Demon Souls after Alent, where you get to decide, are you going to kill the wriggly thing inside? It's like, I mean, you literally walk into a canal and kill a fetus. Like it is so about birth. And to have that just like not in Dark Souls outside of the Witch of Izalith is a very strange and not strange in like a we're gonna cancel Miyazaki kind of way, but like strange in like a what is going on here way. Like why is this way? Generative kind of curiosity. Why is Dark Souls so much different?
Yeah. No. So I wanted to read, because this was the other thing that we found in Gwyn's tomb.
Excited.
Is the brass armor set. And this is, okay, so here we go. Helm of the Dark Moon Nightis, Firekeeper of Anor Londo. So she's the one that first greeted us when we got to Anor Londo. And then we had to put her down after we broke the illusion. After becoming undead, she visited the Dark Sun Gwyndolin at the Mausoleum of the Spiral Depths, became a Blade of the Dark Moon, and assumed the flame-keeping duty. She received this helm which hides her hideous form and helps her hunt the guilty. So this is just, it all says the same thing.
It's all the same, yeah.
There's no modifying.
So why does she have it on but it's also in the chest. Is one question.
That is always the kind of the weird thing, when, like, you know, we put her down, and, you know, then we kind of, you know, wander our way through here, because she meets us. You know, she's at the initial bonfire that we kept going back to that was dark.
Right, she's sort of like against the wall, like
yeah.
a cool, like a cool protagonist would look.
Like, yeah, she's got this very kind of coolness about her. But then it's interesting because they always think about this guy over here and what his deal is. Because this is where we find the ring of the Firstborn.
Oh, interesting.
He's holding on to ring of the Sun's Firstborn, boost miracles. And it's the Firstborn who once wore this ancient ring. And so it's kind of like a fake out, you know, like, oh, here's the Firstborn who's standing in front of Gwyn's tomb, blah, 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 blah. But no, that's bullshit. You know, why does he have the ring? Well, we know the miracle was left behind on Daddy's tomb, but, like, you know, so there's a whole bunch of just weird kind of fake outs and dead ends. And just, like, you know, all things that just kind of point to, you know, these little, like, nuggets that just point to bigger questions that, like, do not have answers. You know, we do not know who this guy is. We never will know who this guy is. None of the games. I don't know that even Miyazaki has an answer for that. I don't think it's important.
It might just be a corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
like,
corpses hold things in this game. I mean, there's a quality of, I mean, like, at the question of, I think there's the question of, like, does it mean that the Firekeeper was herself an illusion? Are we to understand, like, there's that question, but then there's also the mechanistic question of, like, well, why was it there? And the answer is, like, well, it's there because, like, look, like, it just is. Like, it's like, that's how the armor works in this game. Like, why can I buy Ornstein and Smo's armor later? I don't know. Like, it's not because it makes sense. But then, like, that kind of question between, like, the mechanical quality, like, oh, this is here because this is how video games work, and the storytelling is so blurred in this game in an interesting way. And, like, the question of, like, okay, is that body there because in Dark Souls bodies are also treasure chests, or is that body there because it's supposed to be a significant character based on what they are holding?
Yeah.
And, like, the fact that you can't separate or answer those questions is, like, frustrating, but also, like, really, really generative.
Yeah. So there's one more thing we need to look at.
Love it.
It's the soul of Gwyndolin. Soul of Dark Moon Gwyndolin. And so here we're called Dark Moon Gwyndolin.
Instead of Dark Sun.
Yeah. God of the Dark Sun and guardian of deserted Anor Londo. Special beings have special souls. Use the Gwyn's last point to acquire even a soul to create a unique weapon. I don't think there's anything I want to turn his soul into, but we'll keep it for now. And then we got a Firekeeper soul. Oh, this is...
oh, wow, look at that.
This one is actually unique. With the soul of the Dark Moon Nidus, Firekeeper of Anor Londo. A Firekeeper's soul is a draw for humanity, and held within their bosoms, below just a thin layer of skin, are swarms of humanity that writhe and squirm. Her brass armor serves to disguise this ghastly form. And so they're just bloated and, like, just pregnant with humanity, with souls.
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of interesting because, like, I would think, like, going back to sort of the idea of birth in these games, like in Demon Souls, it is more, it's like, it's symbolic. There's a lot of symbolism and stuff, and, like, the kind of, like, gross worm fetus inside like the last boss, the chaos being, is, you know, gross and flailing, but in the way a fetus is. In Dark Souls, it's almost more like the idea of pregnancy, of, like, becoming, of living, is like a bloated corpse, like fetid, as a way of understanding, like, life as well as death.
Well, it's interesting because, so, like, you know, we've got this, you know, like, it's almost like they become like a fishery.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you know, there's like this kind of like, you know, this image of all of these, you know, humanity sprites swirling around underneath the skin, just like tadpoles, just hundreds of thousands of tadpoles just swimming around underneath the skin and undulating and like swirling. And contrast that with, you know, one of the things that interested me is how plump and jubilant Derby looks when Derby has used humanity to return to be human.
100%, yes.
Like
So happy.
Like I want to take a quick look at Derby's face now. Where's a wall? There we go. So there we go. Just yeah, it's not good.
It's like a Ferengi. Is that the thing she looks like?
Like, yeah, there's like. But then, okay, we're gonna reverse our hollowing, just because we can. Doesn't matter. And our humanity is restored, and this is interesting to me because in Dark Souls, it is human versus. Look at this, God, those plump ass cheeks, and how bright the lips are, and just everything going on here is just so full of life. Like, it is a fullness.
I mean, I don't mean to be weird, but look at her feet.
Like, Derby's got feet on me.
But like, yeah, but it's like even those are just like the way that they're animated is just like, oh yeah, these are like the feet of a newborn child. Like there are no blemishes. It's so strange.
Yeah.
Like, everything about her is like as if she has come into the world just fully cherubic.
Yeah, and then, you know, we contrast that with like Hollow, which is like withered and like ropey, and like there's a kind of a kind of root, like, you know, like roots have taken, you know, shape on the skeleton. And but that's interesting because like when you look at something like Demon Souls, the difference is between body and soul. And you know, when you have a soul, you don't make as much sound. You move lighter. You take less fall damage because you have less weight about your body. Because you don't have a body, technically, your soul. It's just a very interesting.
You have that sort of like hue around yourself. It's almost like spectral.
Yeah.
As opposed to
And I think about that just does that big difference, because like that to me is such like a core, like that is like one of the biggest shifts like in thought between Demon Souls and Dark Souls. That's like enough for me to be like, no, these two games can't even be spiritual successors, because that feels so very different. Just like on a like kind of guiding philosophical principle level.
Well, there's a version of it that you can think of as like a Talos, right? Where like Dark Demon Souls is the version of like a dead land that is sort of being haunted by helpful spirits in a way. Like there's a kind of optimism to it, even though it's extraordinarily pessimistic, just like any of these games. Whereas in Dark Souls, the dead world is just being haunted by the people who are also already dead, right? Like there's nothing about your character in Dark Souls that can do anything except, you know, the most you can do to save the world is extend its death, or end it, which is just an ending. So like it is a matter of like, you're not saving anything, you're not really helping. It's a Talos from like the teleology of Demon Souls to Dark Souls is life and the ways we save it, to life and the way, like Half-Life and the ways we end it.
Yeah. Speaking
Derby has asked the audience for an amen.
And so now we're gonna go back to a place that's bursting with life.
Firelink Shrine, yay! There's Sigmire. Hello.
Yeah, bro's back. What's he doing here?
Well, fancy meeting you here. You did much for me up above. I am grateful. You know, I was thinking the gates, the old fortress. Was that your doing?
Can you tell him the truth?
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it. It seemed like an unlikely coincidence. Well, am I fortunate? This Knight of Katarina thanks you sincerely. Please, take this as a token of my gratitude.
Oh, hey, we got a new miracle.
There you
I like
are.
that.
I'll be heading down below shortly. There's nothing worthwhile up above. No worries. Venturing is my life. I'm prepared for the worst.
See.
There you are. I'll be... No.
So, that's our friend. You know, we've been helping him out.
I like him.
I love Sigmire. He's a good...
I like his I like how dented his helmet is.
Yeah, but his armor
just like-
seems still, relatively, put together. He's taking care of it to some degree.
There's just like I think are those places where he can see out of? Are those supposed to be eyes or no?
No,
there's
because
only
he's got
one.
the visor. They're
He's
like
got the visor, right?
it's
As
just
if something
they're
is.
I don't even think they've actually got. Doesn't even look like they. No, they're not. They're just kind of like a little decoration
There?
almost.
Weird.
Yeah,
Great armor. Just wonderful armor, honestly.
because he does have like the little mouth dents so that he can
Yeah.
speak through below his hole.
And if you walk up to if you make the sprite clip, you can see his face. In it. Yeah, it's hard to do. I remember doing it once and getting really excited.
There we are.
Yeah, there he is. Hey, Sigmire.
He has some sideburns going on.
I like his hair. He looks a little bit like a Morrowind character.
Yeah, he's got the kind of long swept back
Wispy
hair.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get it better. Like, stop turning your head, my
See,
man.
he's turning to see you.
Yeah.
It's gonna make it hard.
Nope. Oh well.
He doesn't want you to see his face. He knows what you're up to.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of someone gestating beneath the surface, have we met our friend up here yet? Or
We have.
okay.
Oh, hello there. I'm pleased to see you safe. As always, if you provide the materials, I can teach you pyromancy.
How do you feel about? So I mentioned this like in previous episodes, but the way in which pyromancy in this game operates as a spell casting that operates entirely off of an item.
I think it's really interesting. It reminds me of the way that miracles and sorcery are pitted against each other in Demon Souls.
Mhm.
Like the fact that it's funny how much I'm thinking about Demon Souls right now because it's the game I've played least recently, but it is of Demons, Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, but it is they have this very specific thing where they're like, oh yeah, a demon if you're doing sorcery, you're definitely not doing miracles are about people who love God, not spells. And I think pyromancy is a really interesting way of handling, almost it feels degraded in a certain way. Big Hat Logan and the sorcerer guy here are sort of scholars and academics, whereas the pyromancy guy is he's a very practical magician.
I mean, he's the hippie of the swamp.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I think about that. So we have miracles, which is faith, versus and belief, versus sorcery, which is inquiry and science, basically.
Right. Yeah.
It is knowledge and application of knowledge, and then pyromancy is just the feeling inside your chest, man. It's all around you.
It's the difference between you can go to church, you can go to college, or you could go to this sort of strange fish concert.
You could go to
my
Naropa.
uncle is doing. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. It seems I don't know if it was possible in the world of Lordran, I would say this is almost an older religion in a certain sense, but that doesn't really seem to be part of the world here. All the stuff you're dealing with seems to be just as old as everything else, especially in the way we were thinking about time. But
Yeah.
it seems simpler, more sort of elemental.
Well, like, and
naturally,
it
I
is.
guess.
It's like, we have like the concept of like chaos is introduced as chaos is the flame that's kind of, gone wild. The demonic form of the flame. And so there is kind of, fire is tied very heavily to the natural world, whereas both sorceries and miracles are, supernatural in that regard. It's interesting to note, like, the Witch of Izalith is a sorcerer. She uses flame sorceries.
Interesting.
Like, that's like, yeah,
Never
like
put that together. You're right.
yeah, but then her daughters are pyromancers. They teach pyromancies. They use pyromancies. They, they come after in a way, but then they have broken from the kind of, the academic tradition of sorcery. So it's interesting that, like, the ways in which we have progression through time, but then, like, also it's very unclear, because pyromancy in some ways feels older than sorcery.
Absolutely. And I mean, in part because it has an item, right? Like, it feels like almost a I don't want to use any essentializing language, but I mean, in the world of Dark Souls, it is like you have to have a fetish to be able to do it. Like, you have like a figure that gives you magical powers, which seems like, in a certain way, like, while you need a catalyst to do magic, that's kind of like, oh, anything could be a catalyst. Like, that's like a sword. Whereas, like, the pyromancy stuff, it's like, no. Like, you need this one specific thing. Like, it is like holding an idol or something like that.
It is, yeah, and it's like, it's the way they say it, the way God, I forgot his name. He's like, I'm gonna give you a piece of my flame.
Yeah.
And this is and his flame was born from a piece of flame that was given to him, and so on and so forth, all the way back, in theory, to the original flame. Where this original fire came from and who originally was distributing their bits of flame, I don't know. We don't get an answer for that. But because it's tied to something as, like, it's like, well, I'm going to use the phrase primitive because I've been in the most, like, very direct sense. Like, this is the initial element of the world is fire.
It's also interesting, like, the difference between that approach to fire and the idea of linking the flames, where, like, like, linking the flame as a sort of, like, I don't know, a way to like consolidate power, as opposed to giving people pieces of your fire, is like, it's very chaotic. It spreads in a way that is not compatible with the way, like, Gwyn and his family think.
Yeah. So here's our buddy Big Hat Logan we talked
Hello
about.
there. I was
Hello
expecting you. As promised, I will share my sorceries. I'm afraid that you are unable to learn sorcery. The basic framework, you see, it cannot be taught. Oh, do not fret. Life isn't all about sorcery. You will find your own way. Don't frown with regret. Peer forward with your head high.
I like Big Hat Logan because he's really into sorcery, but at the same point, he's like, don't worry about it, dude. Like, you're okay. I know you're intelligent, but I'm not gonna...
I mean, he's the professor that, like, he takes you under the wing and says, not everyone goes to grad school.
Right. Exactly. And he's right. That's the thing people need to learn. That, like, that's not a mean thing to say.
Glad to see you alive.
Yeah. And that's it. Glad to see you're alive. Like,
Great.
He's
Oh,
real
hello
friendly.
again. I was waiting to tell you. Master Logan has returned, and he tells me that he has you to thank. Well, we are both in your debt now. Thank you, sincerely. He's just over there. Go along and have a chat.
That's the grad TA.
Yeah. That guy's gonna be doing lectures for a while. I sympathize and feel terrible.
Look, he got stuck with 3 sections of introduction to composition.
Yeah, ugh. Brutal. Here's this guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Miracles, was it? Sometimes I lose myself. Pay me no mind.
I never have bought any miracles from him. I feel like at some point, like I should. Like I could buy another heal, or I could buy Homeward.
Buy Homeward.
I should buy Homeward. Homeward's useful. I don't have enough, whatchamacallits. The thingamabobs.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Spell slots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll buy Homer from him. Why not? At some point, I'm gonna kill him.
Oh, really?
I feel like I should.
How come?
Because he seems like a piece of shit.
Interesting.
But then, since you asked about,
Yay!
here's our buddy.
I love him.
Hey,
He'll
my
eat
guy.
you if you ask him to.
He will. His fucking teeth noises.
Oh, he's so gross. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's so good.
Heavens, you have done it. You have retrieved the Lord Vessel. After 1,000 years, it is you. It is really you.
Thanks, Bramped.
Forgive me. I really should calm down. Now, let us take that vessel on a journey. I assume that you are ready. Now, be still.
Birth of 1,000 fetishes begins here.
God. I genuinely love how little this makes sense.
It's great. The way I always looked at it is like, I mean, it's ridiculous, but like I always assumed he just had two
This
heads.
is the Firelink Chamber.
Obviously,
for the
that's not what
successor of
happens.
Lord Gwyn.
For whatever
Now,
reason.
Place the Lord Vessel on the altar.
I also love that he has to hang upside down.
Yeah.
Very funny. His little mustache hangs.
I just think, you know, it's like, where's your body, bro? But then,
He doesn't have a body. It's just like he's a long tube.
we've got all these vessels over here, which I think is
I
interesting.
never looked at those.
Yeah, like this
Yeah.
this whole space is very weird, which is great because like it's so just deep and ancient and like it feels.
I like it. Oh, good.
I was gonna say like it feels like in line with, but also out of place with the rest of Dark Souls. But like again,
Yeah.
we've got this massive tree root or trunk. It's hard to say. I guess it's more of a trunk. It's got bark, but just growing, just these like just bursting through the
Right.
ground.
It really is sort of like the definition of a liminal space, where like it's just between.
Yeah.
It's not on the way to anywhere.
No.
Which is great because like what's beyond that door, I won't ruin, but what's beyond that door really has nothing to do with like aesthetically and thematically. It feels like it has nothing to do with the rest of the game. So this space makes it work.
Yeah. And again, we have this rooted shape.
Looks like a sun to me.
It is like a sun, but it's also like the when we're hollow, we've got the big kind of wound on our chest, or
Yeah.
that is you know with the circle, and it is got the roots growing out of it. We're not gonna place the Lord Vessel.
Ramp's not going to be happy about
What
that.
is it? Place the Lord Vessel on the altar.
Okay, fine. Can we place the Lord Vessel, or can I just homeward bone out?
That would be really funny if you could.
Let's see.
No!
Bye.
Broke the game. The game's so mad at you right now.
Did I break the game, or did I just, you know, say, not for right now, Frampt. We've got other plans for this Lord Vessel thing.
What are you gonna do with it?
Well, if Frampt is a vessel pro-flame, there must be another counterpart to Frampt who is pro-darkness.
You'd have to assume.
We'd have to assume
Based
that.
on what we talked about earlier, we have to assume it's true.
That is the way this game works. And we're going to hold on to the Lord Vessel at least until we run into that guy. Because he might want something a little different. And I feel like we should hear out both offers before Derby makes a decision. Because Derby's a practical sort of gal.
I love Derby.
And Derby doesn't trust monarchy.
I would die for Derby.
Derby rules.
Which is great.
So.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
I think that's going to be it. Trevor, where
Yeah.
can people find you?
People can find me at No Cartridge. There's a page on at patreon.com/No Cartridge. There's a podcast on all of your podcatchers, just No Cartridge Audio or No Cartridge. You can find me at Hegelbon, Hegelbon on Twitter. I think that's pretty much it. You can find my writing. I have a book coming out called Story Mode, so you can look that up. It's on all your favorite booksellers. Go pre-order a copy, and periodically you can find me here talking with Dia when I am invited. So hopefully that is soon. I would love to being here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming, Trevor. I really
Always.
this would not have happened without you.
Thank you.
This would have just
I'm
been
glad I could get you through that.
an
that
absolute
awful.
miserable experience.
Yes. Well, you made it.
Yeah.
You did it, and boy, does it feel good.
Check the description if you missed anything or you want to get a link to Trevor's book. I'll put it all there in the description below the video. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for watching through this point, and we'll see you next week. Hold on. Say goodbye, Derby. Say goodbye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.